Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your ever Shorty. We're going to take a look at Skin Police today. This is one that I was interested in for a while for a few reasons. Number one, I really like that title. I didn't really know much about it when I saw that title, but it intrigued me. That is an enigmatic title, which makes you want to know more about what's going on. And the title carried on being intriguing through the entire thing. Also, I love this cover. It's absolutely brutal, unforgiving ultra-violence. It's the kind of thing which Marvel Comics would put in a polybag and charge an extra $1 for. But on your press, it's like, yeah, this is the kind of story we're getting, guys. Just deal with it. This is just what's going to happen. And also, weirdly, it reminds me of a thing I saw when I was a kid. There's a movie on in my house. My dad, I think, had put it on. And I don't really remember the movie, but there's a certain scene that's seared into my head of somebody standing in a corridor seemingly getting in the way of violence, but somebody else just shooting a machine gun repeatedly until they've had a hole blown through their stomach, but they're still standing up as their bullets are flying through the open, gaping wound. And I don't know what movie that was. I have literally no context for it, but I always remember that image. When I saw that, it was like a sudden flashback. Oh my god, that thing that happened when I was a kid. It's like, oh yeah, I remember this. This reminds me of that thing. And I don't know what the context again was, but oh man, it stayed with me. And I'm like, right, okay, I like this kind of really bold design work. The other thing that made me really want to check it out is Jordan Thomas. I want to give a second. I need to check creators here. Yeah, Jordan Thomas. He's actually written some other stuff before that I actually kind of liked. Story-wise was pretty good, but the art didn't really vibe with me. And I don't like criticizing art when it's simply a case of it's not for me. Like, the artist was actually pretty good at what they did, but it was just a style which wasn't my cup of tea. Also, I kind of dismissed it after the first issue. But I thought, I remember that writer sticking in my head. So when I saw he was doing something, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to check this out. And you've got Daniel Gaety, or Geet, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it, on the actual internal art for this one. And he's a very different cup of tea. He is brilliant, spectacular. If I'm going to give him one criticism at all, I think for this comic book, I think there's room to be a little less clinical sometimes. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic futuristic cityscape. It looks brilliant. There's beauty everywhere amidst the horror. There's such brilliant, unique design choices. This feels like it's his own world in very interesting ways. The uniforms for everyone, the outfits for everyone look fantastic. Individual character designs brilliant. Even stuff down to weapons, vehicles, buildings. This isn't just riffing off stuff like Cyberpunk or Blade Runner or anything like that. This is making up your own world, putting its own rules in there and making everything kind of work together. Everything reflects off each other in ways that make an entire world with great stories in there. And I'm all in favour of that. Don't get me wrong. When we get to the story, there are some elements which could very easily be dropped into the cyberpunk category. Noteworthy, it's got a transpost-humanist kind of story going on. In this case, rather than like just bits of body being replaced, they are vat-growing other humans which aren't perfect. We don't really get much of a full explanation of the intricacies of it, but apparently there was a point where like actually children being born was very rare, so people were making humans, and it became a black market thing because they were not well made and dangerous and would occasionally have psychotic breaks and murder a bunch of people. You also have a very much anti-corporate, anti-cop thing. In this one, yes, there are protests on the street against the cops, but the cops seem to be totally like unmoved by that because they are the police. They live in a world where everyone supports them. They are heroes, and we see this repeatedly. They are hero cops. They go and do cool, amazing things. They absolutely have the right to commit extrajudicial murder, and they do so. Throughout the comic book, we realise that these people who work for this force, who work for the Skin Police, know this as well. They know they've got a carte blanche because no matter how many people are going to be willing to spray paint a cab over something, the vast majority of people, even in our world, even people left of centre would be like still happy that the police exist and will turn up and hopefully solve crimes and stuff. And I sympathise with that. And in this particular occasion, we have somebody who is having a psychotic break. And as much as I'm very much that kind of person, like there should be especially trained people who turn up to deal with people going through psychotic breaks and mental issues, instead of sending the police in to murder them. It's easy to see that if like harm's already been done by an individual, lives already been lost, you can kind of sympathise with a mindset which is like, well, people should be able to sit up and deal with that problem and not have to worry about paperwork so much and just do the job to make sure no further lives are lost. And again, I do sympathise with that. But we see how that plays out in this as a dual narrative takes off where we see an investigation into one of these not really humans and discussions on what they can get away with and the problems with the world that are out there that the police aren't there to deal with. They just have their job to do and they're fully aware that stuff is going to go wrong. Sometimes the wrong people are going to get dealt with, but that's fine because they're allowed to do that. And on the other side of it, we have an escape of somebody being targeted, possibly correctly, possibly incorrectly, for being one of these people. And it'd be kind of easy to see this as an X-Men, like, the mutants are people of color, we should be scared of them, but then mutants actually literally have the power to change universes and stuff like that. In this one, we do see somebody having that psychotic break and people do die. And I don't think this is just that simple kind of comparison to either ethnic or sexual or gender minorities. I think this is about mental health. I could be wrong. The person who created these comic books could see this review and be like, no, you totally missed it here. But it feels far more like how people deal with mental health issues when they're police. And it is an absolutely critical look at it. This is not saying that they are justified in any way, shape or form. This is saying that they have amazing ways of justifying it to themselves and to the general public to be allowed to carry on doing it. It is the kind of writing I'd expect about that kind of thing from a company like Omnipresent. I'm glad I grabbed a copy. I can't wait to see how it plays out. I can't wait to see more of it. And I've realised I've gone way over my 5 minutes. So that's it from me. I've still got a couple of things to review. I'll hopefully see you again soon. Until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe.